Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast, and welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
Be me. I live in London. Go out all the time on weekends. I don't drive, so take the last train home. Switch to Victoria Line from King's Cross, heading towards Seven Sisters. Headphones on, listening to shitty rock to drown out the drunks singing. They all get off at Finsbury Park. Literally just me and two other people in the carriage. Train begins to stop. Start, stop again. Driver announces that emergency brakes are being activated. Somebody needs to check they aren't obstructing doors on our carriage. This happens for about 5 minutes, and a few other people from other carriages come over to complain to us. We're all seated. The wait between Finsbury Park and Seven Sisters is usually long anyway, but this is getting ridiculous. Arguing commences, and people are knocking on the door for the driver to move the train, but he insists someone is prying the doors open slightly every time he moves the train. Lights suddenly go off. Absolutely nothing can be seen. The driver can't use his PA and is shouting at us instead. Says we're still safe, and it's just the lights that have gone down. Suddenly hear the doors pry open again. No one is near the doors, however. We all start screaming. One guy turns on his flashlight and the door shuts. Train starts moving. We all get off at Seven Sisters along with the driver, who stops the train there rather than going to Walthamstow. He and the other guy with him just say that the train was having technical issues.
In the hospital. Last, or second to last, day before discharge. A new patient arrived overnight. Wake up. Bed is surrounded by a half-centimeter pool of water. The guy has the tap running and is talking to himself, saying shit about how the Shetlands and Orkney are after him, talking about World War III. I come from Shetland. Genuinely scared this guy will somehow find out. He's clearly nuts. I'm paranoid as hell. He always stops talking if a nurse enters the ward. Only I can hear him, freaking out right up until discharge.
Not paranormal, but it was scary as hell for me. Me 2 years ago in San Diego, California. B German exchange student. Already got laid 4 times since I arrived in the US. Already 4 months there. Be part of a group of 12 students. We decided to go visit Tijuana for partying. We arrived there and checked in at the hotel. There's a club about 2 minutes away. It's already about 6 p.m. and it's ridiculously hot. Since the club is right around the corner, I decided to leave all my stuff, phone, pass, etc., inside the hotel except my money. Leave the hotel with 4 other students. We find a decent bar and start drinking. Drink till 9 p.m. and we decide to go clubbing. Finally arrived at the club. I'm drunk but somehow managed to get in. Shake limbs for about 3 hours before I leave the club to smoke my last cigarette before going to bed. See a hot Mexican chick standing a few meters next to the club entry. Go over and ask for a lighter. We start chatting and talk about how awesome Tijuana is for partying and stuff like that. Her name is Jana or Yana. I don't know. About 5 minutes into the conversation, we start making out. Another 10 minutes pass before she asked me to come home with her. Damn, that was easy. Of course, yes. I'm still drunk, so we start walking down the street. Suddenly, she tells me she lives about 30 minutes by car from here. Her brother would come and pick us up. I'm starting to feel uncomfortable, but still want to get laid. We wait for another 5 minutes before a big-ass old truck arrives with 2 persons in it. The windshield is dirty and I can't see who is in there. She waves her arm to stop the car. That's strange. Her brother must have waited for her all the time. Shake all the bad thoughts off and climb in the truck. 2 guys are looking at me. The driver gives me a nod. Yana also gets in and we start driving. The houses around me are starting to get smaller and more decayed. It seems like we already left Tijuana. The guy on the passenger seat seems to snort cocaine all the time. At least it sounds like that. After about 20 minutes and no conversation at all, I realized I left my whole identity at the hotel. I have nothing with me except for my clothes and $50. Starting to feel quite uncomfortable. I don't know what to do. I'm about 30 kilometers away from Tijuana with no identity. I'm trying to start a conversation with Yana. She hasn't looked at me at all since we left Tijuana. I'm feeling dizzy and my heart rate rises. Still drunk and with a beating heart, I ask, "You guys won't kill me, will you?" I'm trying to make it sound funny. No reaction. Except for Yana, who is smiling at me and grabs my hand. "Everything's okay, don't worry." The 2 guys in the front are smirking at each other. I have to get the hell out of here. Turn around to see where we could be right now. See another car far behind us. We are on a road in the middle of nowhere now. The driver, which I believe was Yana's brother, is going about 80 kilometers per hour. I think I gotta puke. Could you slow down a bit? I roll down the window. He's going about 10 kilometers per hour now. See the car behind us coming closer and closer. I open the door and jump out of the car. I roll a few meters behind the car and see the brake lights in front of me. Start getting up and running down the street towards the other car. Turn around and see how Yana and the two guys are already heading off towards what I still believe would have been my death. See, that car behind us was a cop car. Managed to get home safely. I have no idea what could have happened. Maybe they were just afraid of getting caught with the cocaine. I don't even want to know, I guess.
B10. Live out in the country. Get cool walkie-talkies for my birthday. Me and my cousin, who is 8, do dumb spy games with them outside all day into the night. Go into the cornfield at night to do spy versus spy. Use walkie-talkies about an hour into the night. Basically pitch black and silent beyond hearing my cousin move through the cornfield away from me. Radio crackles. A voice I don't recognize begins to talk on walkie-talkie. Starts to tell us to come outside the cornfield and to the roadside. Tells us he has cool spy gear he wants to show us that we can use. My cousin wants to go, and I beg him not to. Hear my cousin move through the cornfield towards the road. I rush to grab him, force my cousin to go the opposite way towards our house. The person on the walkie-talkie keeps telling us to come to the truck on the road to play with real spy stuff. Parents called the police, but all it amounted to was extra stranger danger lessons in school. It chills me to consider what might have happened if we went.
Never done a Greentext before, but I'll try. I can never live out in the country because of this. Be 19. Out deep in the country with my dad to see grandparents. Huge trees everywhere. 3 a.m., pitch black outside. Everyone's asleep. I'm playing video on my laptop. Hear tapping on the window, see Dad's face. Go to the front door to see what's up. Looks pale, asks if I want to start a fire at Uncle James's. I ask why he was outside. Said he left to smoke a cigarette, accidentally got locked out. Okay. I bring some lighter fluid and we leave in my car. He can't drive for shit, starts swerving a lot. I ask if he's okay. Luckily, no one's on the road at this hour. Just tired.jpg. We trade places and get to our destination in one piece. James lives in a large tract of land that's mostly forest with just enough space for a lake, his house, and a few paths. We park near the house and head towards the lake where James has a jerry-rigged fire pit. Can barely see shit. Use cell phone light to guide through the overgrown path. Sticks and wood are already set up at the pit. Light our fire, sit down. Chilling, enjoying the view of the moonlight on the lake. Try to make conversation. He responds in a few words and doesn't add much. Eventually, he just starts chuckling at everything I say. Looks at me with this bizarre grin between pauses. I ask him if he's been doing drugs again. He just laughs. I get pissed and stop trying to talk to him. I look at the trees, but get the feeling he's staring at me. He gets up, walks away without saying anything. I ask where he's going. No response. Can't see what direction he went, too dark. Hope I didn't make him mad with the drug comment. Good half hour goes by of me sitting by myself, still no sign of him. Fire is nearly out. I get up and start calling for him. Just as I give up and start heading for the path back to the car, I hear some rustling. Look back to see a silhouette of a person standing behind the chair I was sitting in. What the hell? Dad? The unrecognizable figure immediately sprints at me fast as shit. Nope. .webm. I run down the path as fast as I can with my cell phone light in front of me. I can still hear footsteps behind me. Nearly tripped twice on some goddamn roots. By the time I'm near my car, the footsteps have stopped. Rush inside, too scared to look in the rear view mirror as I peel out. Drive back to my grandparents' house, crying like a baby, barely able to see the road through my tears. For all I know, my dad was murdered by some freak in the woods. Maybe James too. Walk inside, the door wasn't locked. I head to my grandparents' room to tell them about what happened. Notice Dad sleeping soundly on the couch. TFW. Dad didn't have a way to lock himself out in the first place. Wake him up immediately, tell him everything. We didn't sleep that night. James was fine, but now sleeps with an assault rifle and checks his land periodically for strangers. Grandparents think I'm full of shit or was on drugs, even though I'm as straight edge as it gets. Sorry for being a bit verbose, I wanted to keep the details intact. Needless to say, I was nervous about visiting after that, but so far nothing has happened since.
Be an Italian guy on a lonely holiday in London. Cold January night. Get a train from Victoria Station all the way to some suburb. Pretty crowded. Listening to Bohemian Rhapsody on my headphones. I feel like burn my dread.jpg. Start humming the song. A drunk woman near me starts singing with me. 2 other guys join in. Before I know it, the whole carriage feels like Wembley Stadium. Everyone is singing, even the guitar parts. Everyone is laughing hysterically. The drunken woman winks at me. Enjoy your holidays, boy. Yeah, you too. As she gets off the train, everybody suddenly stops singing, acting like nothing ever happened. To this day, I keep asking myself if it was some kind of elaborate joke or if I did really live in that situation. It felt so unreal, I kept on feeling strange and dizzy for the whole night. And by the way, how did she know I was on holiday? Did I really look that much out of place to her?
17 years old, just got my license a few months ago. Think I'm hot shit behind the wheel. Don't see why I can't drive a few towns over and visit my cousin. This means taking the highway, and taking it again late at night, early hours of the morning. Parents are unsure, could be dangerous, and they don't feel like getting up at dawn to come get my ass if something happens, convince them it'll be fine. I had 0 car troubles. That is, no accidents, no tickets. And I knew a lot about cars if I had mechanical issues. Drive to see my cousin, playing video games and watching movies and smoking weed for most of the night. 2 a.m. I got to drive back, cruising along a desolate highway. Not backwoods roads, but also not a major highway. You get the idea. Not quite dawn, it's misty out and creepy, but also peaceful. I sort of like the eerie feeling. Suddenly pops and I lose control for a second. Blew a tire, are you shitting me? Look up the road with my flashlight and see some broken bottles. Hair goes up on my neck because I'm pretty sure I've heard driving horror stories like this. This ended up not being the case. Just some stupid kids probably tosses beer cans out a window probably. I'm changing the tire when I see headlights coming. Think maybe it's a state trooper and I could have some help. It's a truck, not Leo, and out jumps this guy in a polo shirt, jeans, cowboy boots, short cropped haircut, and horn rim glasses. All he was missing was the fanny pack, and he looked like a stereotypical nerdy dad. What's the problem, fella? My tire blew out. Well, do you need some assistance? I know this sounds cliche, but I was getting this instinctual vibe that he was just off. The way he walked and talked seemed forced and happy, and I'm getting this voice in my head saying run. Tell him no thank you. It's almost done. Well, it doesn't even look like you have it off yet. WTF, how would he know that if he just got here? No, it's fine, I'll be good. Pick related is sort of what he was wearing to give you an idea. He keeps fidgeting like he can't decide if he should leave or stay, and very obviously wants to stay. I'm pretending to get something from my car, but I was really grabbing one of those little baseball bats you get at souvenir stands because it's my only weapon. You really shouldn't be out here all alone though, guy. Come on, I don't mind. Take us 2 seconds. And he starts coming over. Now I'm getting pissed and scared, so I choose fight over flight. Look, buddy, I appreciate it, but now you're starting to piss me off. Get the hell out of here or I'm calling the cops. Didn't even have a phone. I get back in my car and pretend to look for something because all I can think of is to get inside and lock the doors. Shelter equals safety. I'm in the passenger seat with the door open, leaning over to the driver's side when I hear, No, let me help you. Nerd Dad is at the door and grabbing at my legs, I scream and start rabbit kicking. I think I hit his finger because I heard something crack and he let go. Hop in the driver's seat, floor it with my passenger door open and still on the flat tire. Look in my rearview mirror and Nerd Dad is in the middle of the road, visibly angry, like the last scene in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Drive until I see the lights of the nearest town. Ruined my back tire rim, cost me 3 weeks of paychecks to fix. Never tell my parents what happened because they'd never let me go anywhere again. lie and say the flat happened just outside of town and I didn't realize it. Leave an anonymous tip with the highway patrol about weird fuckers in that particular area.
This happened 3 weeks ago. Go down to the basement at 3 a.m. to put clothes in the dryer. Things feel weird as soon as I step out of my room, but I can't figure out why. As I reach to open the washing machine, I hear the 3 notes of the minor triad, super clear, but it doesn't sound like any instrument I've ever heard. Instantly feel like there's someone standing right behind me. Play Mr. Rationale and chalk it up to me being 5 feet from the circuit breaker box. Electromagnetic fields and stuff. Start loading the dryer. Distinctly hear someone moving around in the kitchen above me. Think it's one of my parents. I finish loading the dryer and steel myself to turn around. Nothing there. Make a lot of noise coming up the stairs to the kitchen so I don't scare whoever's in there. Nobody. On way back to room, realize what seemed weird the whole time. Even though every light in the house is off, it's bright as shit, and I can see everything. In a wood, so no street lights. Back in my room, I look out my window. No moon that night either.
This just happened to me a few days ago, and I'm still totally creeped out by what happened. Work as a clerk at a gas station. Show up for work Monday morning. A weird-looking homeless guy is loitering in the store. My manager is busy checking in our coke dealer and doesn't see the weirdo. Walk up to him. "Can I help you, sir?" He pulls out a banana and a pack of matches. "I need this stuff, but I'm broke. Will you buy it for me, bro?" Decide to be generous and help the guy out. He's weird but seems harmless. He thanked me profusely for buying his stuff. "I'll be back later to bring you a present for being so kind." I assume the present will be some little trinket he values, a watch or old coin or something. I was wrong. He shows up later and produces the gift from his filthy fluorescent yellow windbreaker. It's a little complimentary bar of soap from a motel in Nome, Alaska. Trying not to keck.gif. Thank him for the gift and he leaves the store. I assume my interaction with him are done. They aren't. Later tell my manager about the weird dude. Once I start describing him, she stops me mid-sentence. Says that 2 years ago when she worked at Whataburger, that same guy came in and asked for a glass of water. She gave him the water. "You done screwed up now, .jpg. He starts yelling, "This is fake water. You're trying to kill me with fake water." He jumps across the counter and attacks her. Johnny Law comes and beats his ass. Charges are pressed. He represents himself in court and calls in a plethora of old homeless people as character witnesses. He gets 2 months in jail and has to pay all relevant court fees and medical bills. My jaw drops as she tells me this. I'm now terrified the dude will come back. He does. Later that day, sweeping the sidewalk out front, find half a rotten banana on the ground and throw it away. This totally won't come back to haunt me. Wav. I glanced up a few minutes later. There he is. Don't make eye contact. PNG. He instantly sees me and calls out to me. He calls me by my name. Side note. I have a very unique name and nobody ever pronounces it right without me telling them how to at least a few times. He was saying it correctly and this really freaked me out because I had never told him how to pronounce it. He runs over to me. "Hey Anon, why did you throw my banana away?" Because it was rotten?" No. It was just fine. They aren't any good to eat unless you let them ferment for a few days. And don't worry, it won't hurt me. Humans can eat absolutely any kind of meat and be just fine. And I mean any kind. Except for a polar bear's liver, that stuff will kill you dead. He keeps inching closer to me as he talks, about to piss myself in fear. He forgives me for the banana incident and walks away. Run inside and keep a constant lookout for him for the rest of my shift. Come in the next morning. Manager tells me the guy came in looking for me after I left. He changed his mind about the banana. He's angry after all. He has started referring to me as Yahweh. Catch occasional glimpses of him over the next few days. Thankfully, he doesn't come into the store. Still afraid he might try to kill me for getting rid of his banana. He didn't make any appearances today, thank God. But I'm pretty sure he's been lingering out begin the store. I keep finding matches, cigarette butts, and other junk back there. If anything else happens, I'll be sure to post another update.
Be me circa 2010. I was in high school, probably 15 or 16. I live in a pretty small neighborhood, only 3 houses, and they're all old people. Seriously, no friends my age for a mile radius. I just finished up my homework, so I have all my stuff on my bed. Suddenly there is a knock on the window. I check to see if it's my friends. They like to mess with my head sometimes. Nobody. Back to work. Get another knock on the window, clear as day. My lights start flickering like they're all about to die at once. Third knock. All of the lights burst and my door swings wide open. Scared the crap out of me.
Be me. Live in a neighborhood near downtown. It's about 4 or 5 a.m. Sitting watching videos on my phone. I have this huge-ass window in my room. The blinds are up about 10 inches. The bottom of the window starts at the height of my bed, which is by the window. Laying down. Hear footsteps. See multiple people running to the gate that leads into my backyard. One of them looks at me, in the eye. My computer light was shining on my face. Hear a knocking on my back door. Wait about 4 minutes. Hear another knocking. I open my door. My mom is in the hallway. She looks at me and shakes her head as if to say, "Don't go back there." She heads back to her room, stepdad's still asleep. They never enter the house. I'm not sure if it was a few of my friends or neighbors or what, but I was spooked.
B19. I decided to travel with my girlfriend. Come across a post on the internet looking for workers on his ranch. Everything looked legit. We drove there. Nobody else but him there. One of the first things he said to us, "I never judge people based on their past. Do you believe people can change?" I sure do. Built the house himself, apparently. Would invite us into his room. His table had a bunch of videotapes on it. He'd talk about how much he loved the Japanese, how he had Japanese ladies stay in the past. Go into the city one day. He asks us to walk around and ask young people to come with us and work on the ranch. Gets angry when we refuse. As time went on, his welcoming nature began to show a very temperamental one beneath. Mostly just seemed like he was a whiny asshole, but one time we discovered a little mouse on the ranch and he just stomped it dead. He just seemed generally like a social idiot, though not the beta kind. Get email from my mum one day telling me to Google, "Search the guy and fly home immediately." Do a quick search. Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. Make up an excuse about some emergency at home and how we have to leave. He's seeing right through me, looks angry and says something like, "When do you need to be at the airport?" Tell him, right now, we drive there, and he's all sunshine again, telling us we can come back anytime.
Walking down this wooded sidewalk with a friend at night. See this person walking like a zombie towards us. We're both like, WTF is this dude on? As we get closer, they seem completely oblivious. The person is a middle-aged fat lady. They're stumbling down the sidewalk, staring at the ground. Once we get within inches of the lady, she shoots up and loudly gasps, "Nope, .jpg about 20 feet down the sidewalk. Look behind us." The lady stopped and is just staring at us. "Nope, .jpg further down the sidewalk." She's still standing there, staring at us. She literally keeps staring at us until we can no longer see her. As soon as we're out of eyeshot, the sidewalk dips down into a pitch-black, more heavily wooded area. Scariest shit of my life right here. Convinced there's a cult in my town now.
First day working in a hospital in some stupid gig about capturing data. I have to socialize with some girls who come from nurse school. I am capturing the data that I had to do in the PC that is in the same room of a nurse that has to give some meds to kids. There is this student from nursing school, future nurse of course. I talk with this girl, the normal about normal stuff, school, family, the weather, the country. Next day she doesn't come to work. Well shit, I don't care. I have to work. I last 2 months doing my job, last day of work. I remember this future nurse girl. I ask about her to the other nurses and students. No one remembers her. It seems that even the nurse that was giving meds to the kids in the same room as me can't remember that girl. As I can tell, hospitals are creepy by the only fact of being hospitals. That was fun. I ain't spooked, but that was interesting.
Reminds me of a conversation I had with an old guy in Phoenix. Now Phoenix, it's a huge city, it's not cowboy land, but this guy looked like he walked out of an old western. So we're chatting at a bar, and I ask him if he knows the city well, and he says, "Sure do. I've been here since the Third War, I reckon." And I'm confused and ask, "Third War?" Turns out he was talking about the Navajo Wars. Went to take a piss and I never saw him leave. I mean, clearly it was an old lunatic who escaped through the bathroom window and not a ghost, but it was still cool.
Hey, the same thing happened to me. Except his was some hobo with a bummed-up leg who'd I'd slightly befriended, I guess. You see, I had just moved to the opposite side of the country. I knew no one there. I was barely 17. It was a week after my 17th birthday. As a youngster, I enjoyed occasionally partaking in taking certain substances, but without a hookup in the new city, what's a person to do? Well, I was a lot more paranoid back then compared to today, so rather than go ask normal-looking folks, I found this dude and thought, gee, he looks like an honest-to-God junkie. I'm sure as heck he'll know where to get drugs. Stupid me, being young and trusting, gives Buddy some money, half of what I'd asked for, and he goes into the washroom for a bit, like quite a while actually. So eventually I go in after him. He hands me a $40 apiece. Okay, weird, but what do I know? He then gets me to follow him to this other building and again goes into the washroom. I waited a little longer this time before going in and realizing he'd ran off with the rest of my money. I just don't understand how the hell he got away so fast with only one leg. And how the hell he got past me. No windows in the bathroom. Earlier that morning I had done something I wasn't proud of. A dine and dash, LOL, so hardcore, I know. And I figured this was karma getting me back for that, so I accepted my situation and walked home.
Chilling at my mom's house. About 4 in the afternoon, just on the couch listening to music from my phone. Family has been doing odd jobs around the house. Cleaning cars, vacuuming. Average amount of commotion going on. About 10 minutes later, everybody is done doing shit and in the house wandering around. I notice my little brother isn't anywhere to be seen. Yell out to my mom, "Hey mom, where's Chris at?" Mom responds back she doesn't know, but immediately after her, I hear my brother's voice from his room say, "Yo, I'm in my room, man, what's up?" I say, "Oh, never mind, dude, I was just wondering where you were." Put earphones back in and begin listening to my tame Impala. All is good until the front door opens up. Brother walks through the door with a bucket and towel. Sit up and say, "WTF, dude, have you been outside the entire time?" Bro said he hasn't been inside in about 40 minutes and that he's been washing his car. I don't know, I freaked. Went into his room. It was chilly, but besides that, all was normal. Told my brother and he said he's been seen a man-sized shadow go in and out of his room on 4 different occasions.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Be me 5 years ago. Live in a country none of you have probably ever heard of. Go to the city because my dad works there and I go and visit him every day he owns the shop. 6-year-old brother came too because he was bored at home. Decide to walk around the city with my brother. Old guy comes up and touches my brother's hair and says he's cute. Just awkwardly say thank you, then he walks away. See him a week later again. Greets me and walks around with me. Feel uncomfortable. Tell him I have to go back to my dad's shop. He says okay, bye. I keep seeing him every now and then talk to him for a bit because I can't just tell him off because I'm a coward. 2 months later. See him again, he asks me what I'm doing. Telling him I wanted to buy headphones. He tells me that he has a shop and he sells instruments, etc. Tells me to get into his truck. Told him no, I'm fine and that I'll buy some in the city. Gets angry and tell me to come. Did what he said because, like I said, I'm a giant coward. Get into his truck. Tells me that he can teach me how to drive sometime. I just nooed. After 15 minutes, we get into his shop. There were literally only 5 headphones, 2 guitars, and a keyboard. This wasn't a shop that looked creepy. He gives me the headphones and drives me back. I offer him money, but he doesn't want it. Give me his number, I just accept it. Went better than expected. .jpg. Go home, try them out, they're broken. Call him the next day and tell him that they don't work on my laptop. I just didn't wanted him to give me another one. Tell me to meet him the next day in the city. We meet, then he tells me to get in the truck and I do so. After we arrive at his shop, he puts the headphones back, starts the TV and tells me to chill a bit. I agreed. Gets a chair and tells me to sit on his lap. Say no, I'm fine. He gets angry. Nope, I'm not doing that. Tell him no. Look at the doors, they're locked. He got angry, but I said all right. 10 minutes later, I tell him that I have to go back to work. He tells me to stay a bit longer. Say that I can't. He said all right and told me to go to his truck, but there is a lock on the door. I walk up to the door, he grabs me from behind and kisses my cheek. Then let's go. Awkward eye contact. Just laugh it off, but I'm actually scared. Opens doors, tells me to meet him again next time at his place and that we could have fun. I just laugh and start shaking. He goes to his car and I get in. He drives me back. I told my dad I don't want to come to visit him anymore because I get bored. He is disappointed and sad, but he said sure, it's all right. Get an SMS that says that someone sent me $30 on my phone. In my country, you can send credit to other people. Then he sends me an SMS saying, here, take that so next time you call me, you don't have to spend your money. KK. Buying an internet flat for my phone thinking, that's for the kiss, you read it, mod. He keeps calling, but I never respond. 1 week later, he is in front of my school in his truck staring at me. I act like I didn't saw him and wait for my taxi to pick me up. Yeah, we have taxis that pick us up and bring us home from school. I was inside the taxi thinking how he could know where my school was. Remember that I told him where I live, my name, what my dad works as, and what my school's name is. That dude could be in front of my door anytime. Go to school like always, and there he is standing in front of the school. This keeps going for the rest of the school year, every single day. But he never approached me. Tell my dad that I get bullied at school and that I want to go to another one. He is worried but agreed. School starts and I have no friends, no one I can talk to, just nothing, but at least that Reddit mod won't come near me again. He stopped calling me and didn't come to my school anymore. 4 months have passed. My dad says he needs my help at his shop for the next 3 days. I told him that I could help him out. Get bored after 4 hours and decide to have a walk. I meet the Reddit mod. He comes and talks to me and tells me that I'm ignoring him, and that he's been in front of my school to go to his home and have fun. Told him that I never saw him and that my phone broke. He told me that he went to Thailand and got me something, and that he would bring it to my dad's shop next week. I just say nothing. He asked if I changed schools because he doesn't see me around anymore. Told him no and that he probably just didn't see me. Tell him that I need to go back to work. Next day I see him in front of my dad's shop. He puts his back in front of the door and looks at me and points at it. I didn't pick it up because my dad was literally next to me. After he saw that I didn't pick it up, he came inside and acted like he wanted to buy something but kept staring at me. I looked at my phone, acting like I don't see him. He walked out, grabbed the bag, looked angry, and walked away. Tell my dad I'm sick and that I can't come on the last day. Never go to my dad's again. Never saw him again. Wish I could see him now to beat him up.
Be about 6 or 7 years old. Play with a neighbor girl in her backyard. Backyard leads into thick woods. One day, someone talks to us from the woods. Incredibly deep voice. To this day, I remember it so deep that it barely seemed human. Talks to us while we play in the backyard. Tells us not to tell our parents about him. Never comes out into the open so we can see him. Goes on for a few days, him talking to us while we play back there. Always trying to lure us into the forest. Hey kids, I'm cooking hot dogs back here, come get some. Hey kids, meet me at the swing set at night. Hey kids, come into the woods and check out this cool toy I have. Finally tell our parents. Cops are called. Guy hiding in the woods is arrested. Looking back on it, he could have easily snatched us multiple times. Oh, and as a bonus, after all this, my parents have a talk with me, ask me to draw a picture of what I think a bad guy looks like. I draw a picture of a fucking ninja. Parents are like, no, Anon, a bad guy can look like anyone. I'm like, nah, they'll be a ninja.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more green texts will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.
Remember to check the Odyssey and Rumble pages for separate archives of previous broadcasts.